Happy Friday. Today, happy Friday. I just got back from the airport like 2 hours ago. And I don't know, I'm very sentimental in the sense that if something is like today's someone's birthday and I said I'm going to do something to dedicate something to them, I have to do it that day. And so even though I'm tired and I've just been like I'm not in the mood, actually what today signifies for me, I was like, I still have to do today's episode because it means more to me that it's done on the day of. Anyways, today is 16th of August, so that means today is my mom's birthday, and I'm going to try to get through this episode without crying at all. Okay. For me, I feel like my mom has changed my life in so many different ways, but I wanted to talk about like two different ways that I feel like my mom impacted or changed my life, right? And it's so funny because the other day on Friday, when I was thinking about doing this episode, I was thinking how different my relationship with my mom, like, it's not even different, but like how weird it is that the relationship that I saw my siblings have with my, like, I don't know, I take that back. I don't know what the relationship my siblings with my mom, I don't know what that is like. Like, I can't really speak to their personal experiences. A lot of the memories and things that I remember or I cherish or like just like um about my mom are very, very personal to me. Like, they're very, very personal to me. Of course, there are like times when it's like a family and like my siblings, maybe we travel together, but a lot of the other things are so very personal to me. And I just can't imagine having that across like five children. I used to always joke that I feel like I was her favorite one because she's always like, she could talk to me about anything. We were really good friends. And I don't know, like, it just feels like I had a very personal relationship to her compared to, not like compared to other people. Of course, it was my relationship with her, so I can only remember like the very personal things to me, right? And I think this story about, or it's not even a story, I think the experience about my mom is in two parts, right? One, I used to always joke about the fact that I don't, it's not even a joke. I used to always say that I think she saved my life. She gave up her life to save my life because before, so for context also, my mom passed in 2021 from cancer, and before she passed I used to be very, very, like, I used to be so depressed. Oh my god, I actually can't wait for the episode where I talk about like me being depressed and anxious, and now like I don't know, I'm not healed, but like that's like years back. I don't experience those symptoms as I used to back then. And it was worse because obviously I had even just moved to America. It was at the peak of it. I was doing my master's, maybe in like the first or the second year, and life is just so confusing, and you don't know what you're going to do. If you're going to get a job, you're in another person's country, you're far away from your friends, you're having to make new friends. It was a lot. Let me tell you something. The post-immigration depression and anxiety was a lot. And I used to always feel like, okay, what even is the point of all of these things? And at that time too, there were struggles about, oh, relationships and getting married, whatever. Anyways, the point is that it was a lot. And to the point where like I was like, okay, maybe it's not even worth it to be on earth. Let me just go, blah, blah, blah. And I'll just be like, yeah, I can't do that to my mom. I can't do that to my mom because her enemies would now be like, yeah, she couldn't even take care of our kids, or maybe somehow, how like extended family on your father's side, they'll find a way to blame her. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to give them this where they blame my girl because she did everything that she could for me. If she could suck up my depression and anxiety, she will literally suck it up. She'll suck it and take it. Say, why would I do that to her? And like, of myself. And so I'll be like, okay, I'm not doing it to myself because of my mom. In fact, I remember making a huge painting on my wall of her in doing my master's and put in my room so that every time I'm sad, I'm just like, girl, I'm here for you. And when I make it big, oh, I'm gonna spoil you, silly. But anyways, fast forward to 2022, was it 2022? 2021, when my mom passed. Then there came a choice between, okay, girl, shit. You really don't have an excuse anymore. You don't have an excuse anymore. The person that you were hanging on for, they are not here anymore. So are you gonna stay or are you gonna go? And I'm not gonna tell you about the exact moment that that happened because it's very personal. I'm still working through it, but I was just like, yeah, I have to. But before I do, I a part of me was just like, it wouldn't be worth it like all of the things that she has done, then would, because I know that she really wanted to stay. I know that she really wanted to stay to be able to be a mom to all of us. And so it was like, then you have to give her that and just um make your life as beautiful as possible so that wherever she is and she's watching down, she's like, okay, you know what, you're living for me and you're enjoying yourself and you're being happy. You're not miserable, you're enjoying yourself and you're just having a good time. And I think that another reason why that was a little bit confusing for me is because then I had to walk through, you're not, okay, I'm going to stay. I have to stay, right? I'm going to stay. And then you have to be like, okay, for me to be able to stay, I have to walk through some things. And especially, I believe that the first point of contact, you know how like people always say that you shouldn't toot your own horn and you shouldn't say that you're the shit or whatever. I think right now, 2024 me is the absolute shit. Like I'm the coolest person. I've come such a long way. Like I couldn't be more proud of the person that I am right now. And everything started back in like 2021. I mean, I've always been a cool girl, don't get me wrong. But I feel like when I took that decision to heal, my life has just like changed dramatically and drastically. Like, I'm such a different, I'm obsessed with this person that I currently am right now. And I don't think that it would have happened without what happened back then, like losing my mom and the grief. And so sometimes I always tell people I feel like, okay, maybe she gave up her life for me. Which is so it's so annoying and angering because you're like, why did one have to happen for the other to happen? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I could have still stayed here and she could have been here still and I'll still have healed. But we don't know that that's gonna happen, right? So whenever that happened and I decided that, you know what, I have to stay and I have to heal and I have to become a better person, I believe that for you to become a better adult, you have to heal your inner child first. You have to deep down your childhood and what made all the memories that you have, why you're unhappy, why do you have the expectations that you have of yourself, why do you feel like, if you feel like you're a disappointment or your life is not, why do you have all of those thoughts? And so for me, again, I remember that day and the progression of that day very, very well. But when the thought came to me like, okay, this is it, you have to change everything, my first step was I have to forgive my parents. I was like, okay, the other one is alive, so I'll deal with that, the other person later. I have to forgive my parents. I have to think about the childhood trauma that I'm carrying and forgive them, forgive myself, and move forward from there. And it's difficult to forgive people when you can't really like confront them and talk to them and hear their side of the story. It's kind of difficult to do. Luckily for me, I have a lot of wonderful memories of like talking and really getting to know my mom. Like again, when she was alive, we were like guys. We used to, like I said, I like being at home and she loves being at home too. So we would literally put like a mattress on our balcony and we could see like, cause my house had like 3 floors and we could see like our community and we'd just be gisting into the night, right? Me and my mom. And so we kind of had those talks. So it really, really helped me to be able to relate back to her, even though she wasn't alive at the time, to be like, okay, I can see maybe why she did things the way that she did things. But also now as an adult myself going through some things that I was going through myself, like job wise or relationship wise, and being on the other, side of the, um coin, I'm like, oh wow, I can't imagine going through all of that at the time and also having to take care of like 4 people. I'm not having to take care of any child now, and I know that life is one kind. Imagine now having to take care of like a husband and and 4 children, 5 children. Imagine how much different life would be for me. And so it was just processing those things and forgiving her and looking at it from the fact that they also, I know that on social media, and that's why I really like social media, because we've all seen those things going around saying that this is the first time that your mom is also living life, so cut them some slack. Your mom is just a girl, literally just like you're just a girl. Your mom is literally just a girl. The things that you're experiencing, some of the things that you're experiencing, this is the first time that you're experiencing it. Believe it or not, this is the first time that your mom is also experiencing it, because I mean, she's not like ChatGPT or Gemini. She doesn't have all the answers. She hasn't seen every single thing. This is her first time on earth, right? So there is a possibility that she's seeing these things for the first time as well. And just being able to navigate all of these things. And then think about like even the economy of things. Think about the economy. Think about how frustrating things are now, right now. And then having five children. And another thing that used to always come in my head is how, like, you have five different children, plus a husband, plus yourself. You're kind of having to think for seven different people. Because at that age, as a child, you're not able to communicate most of your needs properly. You're not able to make a lot of decisions properly. And your mom or your dad is having to carry those thoughts for you. They're having to like process them, like, and project them back onto you in the best possible way that you can. I feel personally like it's one of the most, I don't say unrewarding job. I think for my mom it was one of the most unrewarding jobs, because I wish that she was here now to enjoy me just spoiling her and being, you know, the best version of myself that I am, and she would be like deep, so proud of what I've become. And so, but imagine having to think for seven different like people. Do you understand? Seven different people. Not one of these people have the same thought. Not one of these people want to do the same thing. Not one of, even now, my youngest brother, um, we're having to like, as the elder sisters, we're having to like take care of him. And I know how much sometimes it's not, it doesn't stress me out. It doesn't stress me out to have to think for him at all. But it worries me. The word is that sometimes I get severe anxiety from just thinking about, oh my God, how is he doing? Oh my God. Like I wish I could hold his hand everywhere he goes. I wish I could have like a camera to look at him everywhere he goes and be like, okay, he's fine, and I'm okay with that. So now think about having five children and a husband and having to think about all these different people. And I remember one of the earliest memories I have in my life is when I was sick when I was younger, and my mom went with me to the hospital, and the whole day she was just there with me, and we were just I don't even know why I remember, like, that's like the first memory of me. When like as children we don't know as far back as we go. That's probably like the first, as far back as I go, of just her running around, and I almost died, and she was just like, oh, this babe. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I feel like I used to be a sickler when I was younger. I can't remember if I was a sickler, but I remember that I was sick that time, sha. And I just feel like it's so interesting also because for me, when my mom was alive, because both of us are very similar, we used to bump heads a lot. We used to bump head a lot and just not agree on a lot of things. She was the first person I communicated like um my feminism interest too. And I remember I was just arguing about it, because also at that time I wasn't as intelligent as I am now to communicate it properly to someone. But she was just like, okay, that type of thing. And I've always been, it's always been joked at in my family, my extended family, that I protect my mom, or like, don't if you don't let someone know about something with our mom, or she'll not. I told people a story on TikTok the other day, like 2 years ago, when I fought some kids for my mom when we traveled to Dubai, because they were saying that the aunties too nosy, and I went right up to them and be like, wait, what did you say? And then she was like, Salma, don't fight. And so I've just had such a wonderful relationship with my mom. And but towards the end, as I was growing older and things are changing, I was getting a little bit more frustrated. Sometimes I feel guilty about maybe I could have done some things differently. But now I'm very happy that I'm taking time out to now reflect back now and be like, hey, we did have a lot of good times that definitely outweighed the bad times. And so that's on one end of it, is how I feel like grief, particularly from my mom dying, really saved my life. But the other aspect of it is that when I tell people that what I am today is nothing short of my mom, I feel like even I'll never be able to express the gratitude of it, express like the magnitude. I said gratitude, express the magnitude of it in full depth. And I'm just so grateful that I had that, because I would describe myself as one of the most delusional persons in the world when it came to like my goals and the things I wanted to achieve, especially at that age as a child. And I could give you a couple contexts, right? So say for instance, whenever I was going to do my undergrad, I whenever I was going to do my undergrad, my sister and I didn't get into the school that we wanted to get into on the first try. We didn't get in on the second try. And then my dad was like, okay, I know this other school that you guys will be able to get like easy admission to. And we did. Except I was like, I'm not going to the other school. I want to go to Covenant. And my dad was like, ah, this girl. Like, my dad couldn't deal with me because he was just like, this girl, please get out of my face. He sent me back to my mom. And my mom was like, Salma, you only have this one chance to go to Afe, because to go to Afe Bala, because your sister's gonna go there. We got your admission there. We think you should go there. And I was like, no, I want to go to Covenant. And my mom was like, okay, but you didn't get admitted into Covenant. And I was like, I need you. Like, I literally was like, I need you to trust that I will actually get into Covenant. And she looked. I remember being on the floor in her room, and she looked me dead in the eye and was like, you know what? I trust you. I swear she was like, you know what? I trust you. And she was just like, everything that you put your heart to, I just fully believe that you get it, because you've always been hardworking and you've always like done things the right way. You've always like had a good heart. You will get it. And she's like, okay, but I need you to just I want us to have like a contingency plan. So maybe in let's give ourselves time. Maybe in 2 months, because she wanted to be logical also. Maybe in 2 months, if this doesn't pan out, we'll come back and consider this. I was like, I can give you that. And so I would literally go to her shop and still sell stuff for her, right? And she would make jokes about it and be like, this girl, you could go to uni, but you just come and be selling things with me. And I'll just be like, at that time, it was annoying because I'd be like, why is she saying that? But she was joking, obviously. And I got into Covenant. I got into Covenant, not just getting into like, getting into, but I got the exact course that I wanted to study in Covenant. And I remember that was another very unique experience that I had with my mom. It was very similar for when I wanted to come do my master's and I didn't get into U of H. I feel like another day I'm going to go into how like my success story is such a compilation of like first time failures, and then the next time I blow it out of the park, which is so interesting to me because I don't know, it's just very interesting to me. And so I didn't get into U of H the first try. My mom was just like, again, literally sitting by the edge of her bed, and she's just like, girl, I feel like you you want to try again, right? Or you know that this is the school for you, right? Or maybe something from along the lines that she's not worried because she knows that I'm going to like make it work in some way. And she's like, you have a plan, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I have a plan. And she's like, okay, do you want to tell me or no? I was like, yeah, sure. And I told her, and she's like, okay, no problem. And so even when I got the admission and my dad was giving me so much issues, my mom was just like, again, Salma, so for me at that age, 20, like 16, 19, 20, 21, to be so delusional of the things I wanted to do, and to have someone be like, yeah, I know that you could do it. It was just, it ridiculously changed everything about my life. It ridiculously changed everything about my life. And I feel like even at this point, that's why like, at this point, luckily for me, I've been embedded with so much of that at this point, I believe that anything that I personally want to do, like I don't take on other people's goals in life. Like, so for instance, I'm not saying that I want to be like the CEO of so and so. I don't know that I want to do that yet. Okay, that's still like ways ahead, right? But I know that if I decide tomorrow that I wanted to be like a director, I wanted to be like a CEO, I wanted to start like do anything, I know that my mom will be on my side. I know that if she was alive and I was like, Mom, I'm doing content or I'm posting on YouTube, she'd be like, yeah, you actually, you kill at it. You probably be, do you understand what I'm saying? And she would gas me up, but like not in a non-logical way, not in a way that she's not considering all other things. And for me, I just always feel like that is one of the main things that make me, and not to even like make this about other people, because it makes me, when I think about then not having that person anymore, it makes me very emotional because it makes me very emotional because it makes me very emotional, but at the same time, it makes me very grateful that I had that, because as much as I want to be mad at the fact that then she's not going to be here for the next like 20, 50 years, maybe when I have kids, when I get married, when I do this and when I do that, I'm equally grateful for 25 plus years of me having the strongest and the most intense love that I could have ever experienced. And just, I guess, basking in the fact that I had that to begin with, because some people don't have it. And so I have to be grateful for what I actually had. I have to be grateful for that show of love that I have. And I feel like maybe that's why sometimes I don't process when people still have but their parents, and they have like maybe the spirit of like jealousy, or they want something else that someone else has. And I'm just like, you have the best thing in the world that like that some people don't have. I strongly believe that this is the best thing in the world that you can have is a loving parent, that solely a loving parent, a loving sibling that believes in you and will put their own self, will put yourself or your dreams and your needs above themselves to make sure that you get everything that you want. And if and I think that that's another reason why it scares me sometimes when I think about having kids. And I know I don't really think about having kids, but I think that it's one of the things that I think about. That I'm like, oh my God, to be able to give one person every single thing and almost like lay your life down for them is such a huge sacrifice to me. And it's actually the most beautiful thing. I think that if I could change things about how my mom and I were when she was alive, maybe I would be, as a child, I would definitely have been kinder to her. 100% I've been kinder to her, and 100% giving her a little bit more grace. But then I don't really like, because I don't want to dwell in that, like, when you dwell in the things that you did, it breeds regrets, and regrets kind of like triggers like your anxiety or like your depression. So I don't really like to dwell on, oh, I could have done this and that. I also like to give myself grace that I was younger. And thinking about how much love, that's another thing, that when you think about how much love that they have for you, and when I say they, your parents, you think about the fact that they will forgive you completely for the things that you did to them when you were younger, because they know that you didn't know. And that's what love is about, giving people so much more grace than usual, because you understand that, okay, they might have been going through something, they might just have not known, they might be ignorant about this and that, and so, because even the person that is alive now, my dad, I was a lot unkinder to him when I was growing up. But now me and him have such a wonderful relationship. And that's because we've now learned that, okay, between both of us, we could have done things differently, right? And if he can forgive me, if I can forgive him and he can forgive me and we can have a good relationship, I can only imagine that me and her would have also been able to move past our issues, and she would equally forgive me and I would equally forgive her for things that have happened. But I still regret once in a while that I'm not able to take care of her and spend money on her. However, the way that that manifests now is me taking care of myself like completely, because whenever my mom was alive, again, like I said, me and her were like really close, and she used to enable me, but not just in like the goal aspect of my things, but like in material aspect of things. My mom used to call me Omo Babalo, and so, meaning, for people who don't speak Yoruba, the child of a rich man. And she has this song that she used to sing for me. I've forgotten the song, but like she used to sing, like, if I told her, mommy, I want to buy so and so, she'd be like, she would sing the song and be like, your father has money, go for it, like, and she used to gas me up a lot. The first time when I was like in 200, 300 level back in Covenant, I wanted to buy an iPhone. And I remember going to this foolish website in Nigeria that the guy told me to come to Jack on to come and collect the phone, right? And I was paying him like, I should have given him like hefty money for the phone. Anyways, he ended up trying to scam me. And I went back home to my mom, like, can you imagine somebody trying to scam me? And in all of this, she was just like, you know what? Let's just go buy the phone. Like, I'm just going to add the money on top for you so that you can go and buy the phone in Computer Village. And she followed me to Computer Village to buy a freaking iPhone in like two. And I know that in 200 or 300 level when a lot of my mates didn't have it, but she was just like, you like nice things, so and you do a really great job. You're very hardworking, so I will 100% enable you to have nice things. And so even when I moved here to the US and I wanted to buy like designer things that I couldn't buy when I was back home, my mom would be like, yeah, yes, buy it. She told Birch Lilini. She Chanel. Kinika. Go for it. Like you're working hard. Enjoy your money. And I just really, I remember those things and I really appreciate it. And I feel like my life has turned out so good in different ways. One, because I was able to heal like my thoughts, my trauma, my depressions and anxiety. I haven't fully healed it. I'm still working through it, but I've been able to like heal my like the most difficult part of like my inner childhood, forgive myself, forgive my parents, my mom, just continue to bask in like the good memories and the good intentions that I believe that she had towards me. And then the other aspect is like enjoying now my adulthood and just being grateful for having the adults that I have because it's a product of love and good intentions from someone who would literally lay their life out for me. Someone who I know that if they were here, all the things I have will make them continuously proud of me. Um, and I don't want to end by saying that, oh, cherish your parents. Everybody has like different relationship with your parents. I can't really tell anybody what to do. I can't tell you to forgive your parents. I can't tell you to have a conversation with them. I can't force you to do that. It's not my place, honestly. But I really, really hope that as human beings, especially for your own sake and to heal like your inner child and become a better adult, that's one of the things that you have to do is to have that difficult conversation with your parents. And if they're not here anymore and you can't have the difficult conversation or you're just not in the place yet, maybe just deep dive to think about how much love that is hidden under some of the pain that you're not able to like uncover. And maybe you can uncover some of that love, some of the grace that you should be giving them, patience, a tiny bit of it. Maybe you can put yourself in their shoes to just see things differently from their angle. I also always used to joke about the fact that I can't imagine being a young child in those colonial terms back in Nigeria in like 1960, being like, do you understand what I'm saying? And you see like some of your mates are in schools, you can afford school, or some of your mates were shipped off abroad and you don't have those opportunities, or you had to leave your village to come to Lagos and be house. Like, there are just so many possibilities of things that you can think about of how these people in their generation grew up that it's so difficult for me particularly not to give them grace. It's very, very difficult for me. And maybe like I said in the beginning, I'm just one of those coolest people. Those, I don't want to call myself an empath. I hate when people call themselves empath, but one of those very sensitive people who think about, look at people and feel like, oh my God, I can feel your trauma, because I just can't imagine the things that they had to go through. They didn't have electricity. They didn't have like phones. They don't have like this joys, these things that we have now that's bringing us so much joy. They didn't have most of that. So I tend to cut them a lot of slack. And so for my mom, despite everything that she was handed with, I think she was a wonderful mom, especially to me. Like I said, I was her favorite. But she was such a wonderful mom, and she gave me everything I feel like she could have given me. And happy birthday to my mom. I love her so much. She was my girl. I still talk to her once in a while. Not even once in a while, I take it back. I talk to her every time, honestly. Before I tell somebody else something that's going on with me, you would think that I shouldn't. Like, I feel like, okay, they're watching over, so you don't have to have a conversation. No, I be gossiping my mom, like, oh my God, did you see? Like, I was telling my cousin today that if you see me just mumbling and talking, like randomly, I'm talking to either myself or my mom and just be like, did you even see what happened? What should I do? What do you think about? And let me tell you, maybe I am not okay upstairs. I don't know. I don't know if I'm not okay upstairs. It helps me a lot because it helps me like just process things first before being angry about things or before losing my shit about things or before not being patient or it helps me out a lot. So I always even in death, she's still having my back. And I just love that for both of us. I love that for both of us. So yeah, this has been really exciting for me to talk about. I'm really glad that I spent my day talking about. I'm really, really happy that I was able to gather the strength to talk about this. I'm also really proud that it's been like 20 minutes, not a single drop of tear. Ah, what a joy! What a fantastic person I am that I was not able to cry, and I was able to do this in one take without tears, without even stopping. That was fantastic. I tried to hold back from calling my grandma today because my auntie was telling me yesterday that my grandma has been very moody because she's anticipating like today. I'm not calling my dad, I'm not calling my sisters. I just feel like all of us are like very avoidant when it comes to like dealing with our emotions, and it's just one of those things that we're like, yeah, everybody pray and do your things on your own. Obviously I'm going to pray on my own. As Muslims also, like you have to do like sadaqah and things for like the dead. So that's also going to happen. But yeah, I'm very grateful. I'm very happy. And I know that I feel like because this isn't defined as something that I don't know if like I'm supposed to talk about this on my podcast. It's something that's happening with me, and I feel like this is what this is about, for me to be able to share what's happening with me on like a weekly basis. And this was it for me this week. So I apologize if this isn't like the normal content that you expect. I don't know, but I don't know. I really just wanted to talk about it. And on that note, though, I want to say a very big thank you for all of the new subscribers. Oh, you guys are gassing me up so bad. Like, I don't know, for the past 2 weeks now, you guys have just been like, oh my God, Salmat, we can relate to your content. And I love how you talk about this and talk about that. And it's made me so happy and so giddy. I feel like I always say every episode, listen, you just have to skip this part because I'll never, never not say thank you. I'll never, never not say, especially to those people who reach out to me in one way or the other. Maybe it's on Instagram DM, maybe it's on YouTube comment, in however way that you choose to reach out and be like, oh my God, this was a wonderful episode. And you tell me how exactly you relate to it, how exactly it resonates with you. For me, you've made my day. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, you make my entire year, my week, because I just love receiving those feedbacks. You know, we talked about last episode that I do be liking validation. So it validates me in some ways. And so, yeah, this has been super exciting. Well, happy Friday. I didn't really get to do much today, honestly. Again, I feel like this piece of clothing will probably take me like a whole year to make. But it's one of those things where it's worth it because, you know, we're having a conversation. So yeah, happy Friday again. It was really nice talking to you guys. Happy birthday to my mom. Happy birthday to anybody that was born on August 16. And I will talk to you guys next week, Friday. Bye.